Firstly, I'd like to thank Johnny for inviting both myself and PJ over today. It's not too often we get to go outside the bubble of work, and it's quite intense. It's end of season at the moment, so we're delighted to get the opportunity to come over here and to share with everyone here and give you an insight into what we do at Munster Rugby from a very practical perspective. Today I'm going to speak about the role of running drills in linear speed development. Now, any strength and conditioning coach or performance coach, one of our fundamental roles and things that we do is develop speed. It's our job, because speed is key, whether it's soccer or football or rugby, speed is key. So it's our job to optimize the player's genetic speed potential, to add value in any way we can. And that's a difficult, complex process. Principles are few when we're doing this, but methods are many. And one of the methods we use are running drills in this regard. So just a brief overview of my chat with you today will be: what are running drills, why we use them, and then how we use them. What are their practical implications, both from a point of view of rehab and also from a point of view of performance. So, what are running drills? Running drills are broken down movement patterns used in actual running. You'll have seen them all before, you'll have practiced them all before. I'm just going to show you a nice example of one. The player in question here is Greg O'Shea. He's an under-20s player, plays with Ireland, and he's in our academy. Oh, I just skipped on, sorry. It's a pretty complex, running drill, and it's focusing specifically on building up ankle strength and elasticity and reactivity around the ankle joint. That's a really nice example of what they are. It's a more complex one. We have regressions and progressions of this as well. And this is a really nice still as well. Okay, it's a good still because it really highlights why we use them and what are the benefits that we get out of them. As you can see from this picture here, we use them to build running specific strength. And it's quite obvious. His posture's in a good strong position. We're building postural strength and integrity. His hip is nice and high. We're building strength around the hip. And also, as you can see by his movement, we're going to build strength and specific running strength through the ankle. This is really, really important, that we can build specific strengths through the ankle, so that we're running over the ground and bouncing, rebounding off the ground, getting free energy off the ground, rather than running soft and collapsing into the ground. So it's one of the main reasons why we use it. Gary Winkler is a strength and conditioning, or he's a track and field coach from the States, and he's a famous saying that if we collapse at the ankle, we're going to collapse at the knee and the hip, and the system will lose its rigidity, will lose its stiffness. So that's one of the main reasons why we use these drills, is to build up running specific strength. But there's also another reason why we use these drills, and that's the most obvious reason, and that is to develop speed mechanics. These drills put our limbs and our postures in a strong position so that we can optimize the ground reaction forces. More specifically, even looking at Greg here, it leaves a good high hip position, so that it also trains a good high hip position, and also it trains us to contact directly underneath our center of gravity, maximizing these ground reaction forces. It also teaches to reposition the limb back up and underneath our body as well. So it develops sound running mechanics. Not only will the sound running mechanics and running specific strength drills improve our ability to run fast, but they have other nice benefits for us as well. The improvements in movement efficiency will also improve and give us improvements in metabolic efficiency as well, and improve our fitness profile. We're not leaking energy. Also, if we're not leaking energy, we've also that added benefit that we become more robust. And we reduce the likelihood of getting injured as well. So they have many benefits. And we use them from age grade right through to the senior team. So, running drills. Running drills are only part of the Munster speed system. The Munster speed system, we've adopted a model used in the States by the good people at Exos, formerly Athletes Performance, and particularly Nick Winkleman, called the 3 Ps to develop our speed. Quite simply, the 3 Ps are power, position, and pattern. So we build speed through power training, or training the force velocity curve, which the lads have spoken about, or surfing that curve. We develop it through mobility stability training, and we can also train speed through training mechanics or training coordination. So not only can we build speed in these 3 ways, it's not all about strength training or power training or speed training or resisted speed training. They all work, but we also have to look at position and pattern also if we're to become more comprehensive in this regard. So there's 3 parts of this process. If we're going to analyze movement, this is a nice model as well, because if somebody's our speed profile is poor, if they're red flagged and we need to improve their speed, where do we look for? It's a minefield. This simple process helps us target where they need their work. For example, is it power? What's the force velocity curve like? What's their reactivity like? Are they bouncing off the floor? Is their reactive index good, or does it need improvement? What's their mobility stability like? Have they good mobility around their shoulders and their hips so that they can get into good positions to maximize the ground reaction forces? Or are they locked up? Will freeing the hips make them faster? Or is it a pattern? They've got good power, they've got good strength, they can generate large forces, they can generate large forces in a short amount of time. They're very free around the shoulders, they have good stability, and they're free in the hips, but they don't have the coordination pattern to run quickly. So looking at their biomechanical profile maybe will shed some light upon that. So it's a quite complicated process, but if you can divide it, or we find that when we divide it into these 3 sections, it really helps us simplify the whole process. We're just chunking things down. Now, running drills have a role to play in each 3 of these streams. For example, in power, the running drills can build reactivity, elasticity, ankle hip strength and postural strength. Regarding position, running drills build ankle and foot stability, core stability importantly, functional hip control, and also really good dynamic flexibility. That's why they're good warm-up drills as well. And of course, running drills teach correct posture, correct hip height, correct foot placement, rhythm and relaxation. They do all these things if they're taught correctly. It's like everything else, okay? So they have to be taught correctly, and to teach them correctly, you need a process to teach them correctly also. So, looking deeper at these running drills, we have 3 main streams of running drills: skips, ankles, and A's. Competency in these determines progression. For example, skips go to marches, to single skips, and to double skips. Ankles go to double leg ankle drill, which is quite simple. I'll show you videos of all these. Single leg ankle to the 2-1-2s that Greg was performing earlier. Really sport specific, a little bit quicker. And finally the A's, or the running A's, which you probably have heard of. go to resisted A's, and then to step overs, which really mimic top end running, okay? So there are progressions, and here are a few of the videos, okay, to just illustrate what they look like. All the time we're emphasizing strong posture, high hip throughout the entire running cycle, and contacting underneath the hips on the ball of the foot. Again, it's quicker, there's a progression there. So strong posture, tall hips, contacting the ground directly underneath the hips. And then it's just a little bit more complicated drill, and that's a double skip. The next stream is the ankle stream. Now, the running A's and the skips will develop the ankle sufficiently, but given the fact that the ankle is that intersection with the floor and its importance in stiffness and rebounding off the ground, we gave it a section by itself. And again, I'm just going to play this. Starts off with simple trumpet bounds. When these are mastered, we go on to ankle skips. So double leg to single leg, there's progression in everything, which allows regression. And finally the 2-1-2s. That's the ankle stream. The last stream, okay, and the end stage stream are the running A's. Again, you can see that the movement has speeded up here, and it's more specific to actually high-end running. Stick overhead, hands overhead, they're advanced progressions. Locking in the posture. Looking for tall hips throughout the running cycle all the time. And again, if creating more overload, just obeying that principle of progressive overload all the time. And banded resisted work. So these progressions are important at the end stage, particularly with our senior professional players. At the academy and age grade level, we concentrate on the really basic drills, and we nail those down first so that they can build with the running A stream here. A lot of the overhead and the ball drills we use to add variety into the program, to add a bit more complexity into the program, and so that we can periodize the year as well. We'll soon run out of space if we just use running A's the whole time. So, for example, in a macro cycle, we could use a month of regular A's, a month of hands overhead, and then, for example, we'd progress to ball overhead. Just progressing month by month, giving you a bit of variety, giving you a bit of freshness into the system. Here are just some more examples of how we progress a lot of these running drills. So the skipping stream, by and large, you're going to have hands overhead and a weighted implement overhead. Ankle stream, I'm going to show you a video example of the single leg ankle stream. We progress this just through the complexity of the drill, and you'll see that. And the running A stream, again, quite simply, hands overhead, hold the plate overhead. It gives us a lot of options to use throughout the year, and really helps us to progressive overload throughout the season as well. So single leg ankle progressions. Can we just start with a basic march? Move on to a skip. There's a bit more reactivity from the floor, more force is needed. And finally, a little ankle bound. Okay. Just teaching, building the strength, and teaching the players to react off the ground. We call it, we're high-fiving the ground every time, high-fiving the ground. So we react and we bounce off the ground. Building the strength so we don't collapse onto it, we get free energy off the ground. Really important. So how do we coach these? Just like coaching, when we coach sprinting, coaching running, or coaching these running drills, it's a complicated process because things are moving really quickly. So again, you need a system or you need a process. We've adopted a process from Fern Gambetta. He's a famous American strength and conditioning coach called the PAL method. Really simple. We use posture, arm action, and leg action as a step-by-step teaching progression, but also it helps us to analyze, it gives us a context to analyze movement as well. And I'll give you an example of that. So how do we coach skipping? Using that paradigm, PAL, PAL. So posture. We tell our athletes, or we correct our athletes, to stand tall, to zip their posture up, hips to the heavens. Head to heel, strong as steel. So we use external focus, strong mental cues, strong mental monsters, so that they'll remember what we're saying to them. We try to make the process as non-cognitive as possible. Okay, so external cues, trying to make the whole process as non-cognitive as possible. For your arms, we might say cheek to cheek. We might use a cue up, snap down and back. Or what works really well is throw spaghetti back. Throw spaghetti against the wall. We got that cue from America, but it works with our players all the time, who tend to run like this. Remember, your hands guide what your legs do, and it just means that we're flexing, extending from the arm that little bit better. So we're creating context around very visual things for the players. Leg action front side. We use cues like drive up, punch up, ring the bell. It's a strange one. We just tell the players, okay, to imagine there's a bell in between their legs, okay, and we tell them to ring the bell. Ring the bell every time. And that's a really powerful cue. Ring the bell. Because one of the most important things in the running cycle is that we reposition straight up and underneath our bodies. And it's a powerful cue. So in the middle of a speed session, or in the middle of a running drill session, if I feel that the leg action front side is poor, I get them, or I tell them just to ring the bell. Automatically, it registers with them straight up and down, okay? Ring the bell, ring the bell. Leg action backside, leg action front side is moving forward. Leg action backside is moving the leg back down towards the ground. Again, we say hammer down, drive back and down. And finally, leg ground. What we want from the players is to snap off the ground. So we give them an external focus and cues that reflect this. Snap, bounce off the ground, rebound off the ground, and rhythm. So when you're coaching the players, what you say matters a lot. And we try to create powerful imagery around our cueing and how we teach and how we correct. The ankle drills are pretty similar. Obviously, there's no leg action front side and back side because the leg is straight. So it's foot up and foot down. And the main cue that we use with the ankle is simply high five the ground. High five the ground. The cues for the running A's are exactly the same as the skipping. So it seems like there's a lot of cues there, but in fact, for the skipping and the running A's stream, and for a lot of the ankle stream, the cues are very similar. We simplify the process right down. And these cues, importantly, are used right through age grade, all the way up through to the senior team. Because we want our players that come from the academy and age grade to be familiar with these cues. Okay, we're always building the system, building the system, building the system all the way up and through.
Aidan, with your, just check it's plugged in properly.
Really, yeah.
It might just be that. It might just need plugging in at the top there. Just check that. Yeah.
I can speak. Is it very distracting? I can talk louder.
Unless you want to take it off. If you want to try to take
Yeah.
it off. Yeah, I think it's right.
Okay, if any of you were ever to visit Munster Rugby at Thomond Park on match day, you will see running drills being performed as the warm-up or movement prep before the game. They potentiate the players before they play. If you were to come to one of our rugby sessions, you will see running drills being performed. If you want to see one of the academy rugby sessions, they will be doing the same running drills as well. If you were to see one of our stability or mobility or movement classes, the running drills will be also performed. If, and most importantly, where they're most visual is in any of our speed, agility, or max velocity sessions. When we design our speed program, it's got 6 layers to it. A movement prep layer, a control and landing mechanics layer. The running drills now come in third. We've got a plyometric circuit, running drills 2, which are the more advanced running drills, and then acceleration, max velocity, or agility. This is our speed system. Each layer develops specific qualities, and they all potentiate or build on each other as well. It's a very efficient way of training, we find, because we get our movement prep done with our hockey balls, foam rollers, and some of our mobility work. We get in our control and landing mechanics drills, very low grade movement, but essential movement. The movement's almost Tai Chi-esque, really slow, really controlled, just getting the players to focus their minds on the events that are going to unfold after that. Next we're warm enough, okay, and we have enough stability and activation to move on to the running drills 1, which are skips and ankle drills. At this stage, we're ready for a plyometric circuit, which could be, it's usually 3 exercises in circuit fashion. They move through them really slowly, but it could be 2 elastic jumps early in the pre-season and 1 reactive jump, depending on what part of the season or what we want to get done. After that, we're ready for our running drills 2, which are running A's, which are very explosive, and then we move on to acceleration, max velocity, or agility. So it's a 6-part model. And it's very flexible as well, because in season, depending on the players' readiness markers on a Monday morning, what are their subjective, objective markers are like, what's the GPS showing us from the game, what is their subjective rating of the game. We make a decision then on Monday, we talk to the players as well, of how the player is going to maneuver through these 6 areas. For example, if they're showing red flags and they're showing elements of fatigue, yes, they'll do movement prep, they'll do control and landing mechanics, they'll do the running drills, they'll do a version of the plyometric circuit, but they will do a version of it. They may do the running drills over a shorter distance, and they may do the acceleration, max velocity, or agility work at a sub-maximal level, or they mightn't do it at all. So it gives us great flexibility in season to individualize and auto-regulate depending on the state of the athlete. So another massive application for it with us at Munster Rugby is that it's a powerful rehab tool. And I have a nice little video again to show you regarding that. It's the big guy, he's massive, he's 120 kgs, that's a lot of stones, okay? With the red top on, clearly, and the other player, they're 6 weeks post-op. The big man after shoulder surgery, hands in the hips, and the other guy's ACL, okay? So they're just 6 weeks post-operation. He goes further because he needs to work on his work capacity. More about that in a minute. So what do these drills do? Why are they a powerful rehab tool? Early doors in somebody's rehab, it's very psychologically uplifting to do drills like this. Once the athlete knows he's up and moving, they get a massive boost, okay? It's very, very motivational for them. So that's why we put it in there. But also, when we get injured, the end goal is to get back to running really, really fast. So we're honing coordination, running mechanics, running strength really, really quickly. Another important byproduct of the whole process is that the marching and the skipping is harder than it looks, and it also builds up their work capacity and their fitness. You get a fair whack of doing these drills in the volumes that we get the players to do them. Okay, so it's multifaceted, its benefit from a rehab point of view. So how do we use it? So regressions and progressions again. So once a player from any injury can walk, well then they can march, okay? They can march either, can they march over their ankle, over their shin, over their knee? So you have a nice little progression here. Once they can get over their ankle, move on to their shin, move on to their knee. Progress the distance, progress the volume onto double skips. Can they double skip over their ankle, shin and knee? So on and so forth all the way through. So they're nice progressions, nice regressions here. And the running drills then feed into, and Pete is going to speak more about this, okay, in the next chat, our stages of rehab. So returning to run, returning to speed. Level 1, the running drills fit really nicely into level 1, building the capacity to accelerate, and the acceleration and moving out the distance of the acceleration is building your capacity so that you can tolerate max velocity running. So level 1, level 2, level 3 fits nicely in there. So in summary, we're lucky at Munster Rugby in that we have a staff that's been around a while. There's a lot of continuity. And because there's continuity, there's a lot of expertise and experience within the staff, which has allowed us to develop a speed system that we can implement right through the ranks. And that's really, really important, that continuity. Because you can build something really solid and really effective. But a lot of our ideas as well, we get from going to conferences like this and looking all around the world at speed experts and strength and conditioning experts, and taking their best practices, screening through them, filtering through them, and seeing which bits will add value at Munster Rugby and add to our system. So, again, we use running drills to build strength, to hone their mechanics. And we believe that they play an important role in optimizing the player's genetic potential. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
We have some time for a few questions if you wish.
Yeah.
What level of speed improvement typically do you achieve with your players once you start doing these drills?
Well, the speed, it's measured quantitatively or qualitatively. Yeah, but well, we're improving year on year. With the senior team this year, our speed is maintained, but we're very happy with that because we have more games. We got knocked out of the European competition quite early, so that meant that we had more time to train, but it also meant we did a lot of more club matches. They played a lot of club matches with their club, and also a lot more A games. So it ended up, we had a lot of matches this year, which meant we had less time to work on max velocity speed. But we felt by doing a lot of these drills, it helped us to maintain, which is very, very important. It's more about, these drills is teaching the players to run better. And a byproduct of that is that they will get faster, particularly at the underage level. With the senior team, we do a lot of acceleration work,